now too. So we have even more. And we've got the mechs to pull apart, which we should be back to shredding mechs, by the way. Don't have kind of space to put them at the moment. I've only got like... Where the fuck are they putting them? I think they should be just putting them here for the minute. Which I will expand this zone. Because I need to be able to fit more corpses and shit on this. What is this? This is fresh and rotten human and mechanoid corpses. So, surely by now we don't have a corpse over here. Did we already cremate him? Maybe we did. Did we cremate Nikki? Apparently, maybe yes? Unless she didn't die down there. Yeah, no, we might have cremated her. Okay, that's fine. As long as we've cremated both the colonists and stuff. The colonist is idle. Rollo, what do? You do melee, plants, cooking. We have stuff to do with plants. I don't want to make a new little grow spot because I feel like we're going to lose that through winter. But if I made a spot for them to go and plant, it would keep them busy. I'd wait to get my stupid ass back fixed one day and actually survive sitting at my desk without pain. Yeah. I have found, like, if you've got, like, constant back pain, no matter what, like, injuries and or, like, conditions and stuff, it's very, very worth investing in a decent chair. Like, I literally have a clip from, like, last year where, like, I was complaining about, like, my butt pain and stuff. It was technically, like, butt and back and stuff. And Minerva did die. I didn't think she was going to live, and Aries just been standing there trying to tend to her this whole time. But yeah, it makes it a lot worse. And that horse needs to die too. We don't keep those ones. Yeah, I don't know. I have like a soft, comfortable chair now, which is nice. And I had a really good one for like a decade, which was great because like even when my back was at its most painful and stuff, I could still kind of, you know, comfortably exist and whatnot. Whereas, I know that one is allocated to go down there. I did have for a very brief period of time a very shit chair, and it just made everything awful, you know? I have a Bathurst gaming chair from Officeworks going on like 12 years now, something like that. Decentish and affordable-ish from Officeworks. Oh yeah. I stopped going for like gaming chairs a long time ago. I personally like executive chairs, but I also like to sit cross-legged at my computer. So office chairs or executive chairs, whatever, they're wider. They're wider on the bum. I also have hips too, so I kind of want to fit my ass in a chair. But yeah, I found that like the bucket type chairs, because like my car has bucket seats, right? And that is not comfortable to sit in. It hurts like my back and hip and all those old injuries and stuff. And if I have it on a computer chair, I find that they like snap in half very often. So I don't really love them either. But yeah, executive like office chairs, if you get a like good quality one, they can like last you ages, and they're usually more padded or like they've got like proper, I don't know, softness in them to kind of sit in them for a long time. It does depend on the chair though. I got, fuck is this chair supposed to be? It's supposed to be one of those like for like big and tall and stuff. And it's super fucking comfortable because obviously it's like calibrated to be somebody like a lot bigger sitting on it and stuff. So it's like overcompensating like padding and seating and stuff. And it's super comfortable. And like, yeah, I can sit cross-legged on it and stuff, and like my hips aren't wedged in, which makes it way more comfortable. I don't quite know how far in these were. I think they were like not quite that. I think they were like here, give or take. I'll allow that one. They can start bringing that down too. Go for an actual office chair next time though. Gaming chairs kind of suck, to be honest. I can sit with one foot over knee. Oh yeah. I mean, I also sort of sat that way, but it's not good for my hip or my back, so I kind of can't. But yeah, I like to sit cross-legged. It's really quite relaxed. Like, you know how like, I don't know, kids like sit on the floor cross-legged mostly back in like elementary school and shit. It's kind of like that sort of sitting, except I'm at a desk. I'm at an appropriate height to be at a desk. And yeah, it's pretty good. The only problem is I sometimes find like I relax my back a little bit too much, but I'm not like prawning or anything like that. The shitty chair that I had me like sitting up so overly compensated straight. It was just like painful. And I felt like I couldn't like lean, like I can't lean back anyway. My spine won't let me. But I felt like I was sitting on the very far edge of my seat and I might slide off at any given moment. So it wasn't like a secure feeling, safeness, you know. I can hear a surgery going on in there. Hold on. Let's chuck you in there. I don't know if that's quite where I want it to be, you know, but we'll find out. Funny as fuck, so I hate it sitting like that. And the floor would dig into my butt bones. I don't know. I obviously, like, I'm a woman and stuff, and I've got like hips and an ass and whatnot. So yeah, I've got like sufficient padding and whatnot to like sit that way. I do find it like more comfortable, but obviously like I used to find like my knees would like, I don't know, my knees down would go to sleep because my shoes would dig into where would it sit? Like into like my calves and stuff, and like cut off circulation and stuff if I was actually sitting on the ground like as a kid. And I got really good at walking without being able to feel like my lower body and stuff, which actually turned out to be super useful. You gonna live? Maybe. Ended up being like really super useful when I got injured with my back and everything. I don't know who's working on you. Let me just find out. Is somebody going for medicine up here? Tillman, maybe? You don't see anybody rushing up here to get medicine. And there is medicine in here, and I'm not seeing anybody in this area. Twentus medicine? No. Worm, Abba, is there anybody in this room that's not currently doing stuff? I just gotta find somebody nearby because we've only got like 2 hours for them to exist. Hold on. You can do medical. Can you work on Cheddar? Taiko's apparently working on Cheddar. I don't know where Taiko is. Taiko's probably a really solid person to work on Cheddar, but they've only got 2 hours, so priorities. Yeah, anyway, when I ended up like injuring my back, hip, and neck and stuff, I frequently had like bouts of time where I had no feeling from like my belly button down, and having learnt how to like walk on my legs when they're fully asleep up to my hips and stuff was probably the most useful skill I ever learnt, because I could still kind of get around when I couldn't feel anything. Because yeah, if you can imagine, like there's these old toys where they have like this little thing underneath where you push them, and they're like normally made out of beads or something like that, and they just kind of collapse on themselves if you press underneath the thing. And walking around kind of felt like that, where any moment like it could be pressed and like my whole body of beads would just like fall down kind of thing. It's kind of what it felt like to try to walk when you have like no connection to your lower body. But so where am I putting my extra beds? I am putting extra beds in here. I was gonna say, I'm like, I could fit it before, but this is not the same shape. So I obviously made this room a bit bigger than that hospital. But yeah, I don't know. Did that just try to connect that? That's not what I want. I don't want that connected to this. I'm gonna need a different color, I guess. But I'm sick. Stayed home from work. Oh yeah. Aside from that, how are you doing, Gothic? If you're home, are you resting or you just kind of chilling, sort of thing? But yeah. Aside from that, I actually got sleep yesterday. Today? Sometime I got sleep. That's the important thing. So I got sleep, but I also kind of like woke up tired. So I guess yay team. Yeah, this isn't quite the same shape, is it? Do I want to make this one slightly more outwards like that? And Cheddar fucking died because we operated on him. Hold on a second. No. We've already had a couple of people die. When was the last one? A few moments ago. Might have been maybe before the surgery. If it's before the second surgery on the eye, I will just undo the surgery. If it's like right about to happen, I might just find out where Takeo is Because Takeo looked like they wanted to do the repair thing. Okay, we haven't killed you yet, and as far as we go with you, what's going on? We will leave the second eye. Actually, are you already working on one of them? We'll see how we go. If we can put in one eye and you don't die, fine. Otherwise, he's currently sedated. Because one eye was fine, the second one was not useful. It killed him. But if this kills him, I'll just go back and I'll remove these two and then the surgery won't happen and we'll just wait till he's better. Because he's got blood loss severe, so he's going to die, essentially. It's incredibly useful and underrated skill to have. Yeah, being able to, like, maneuver your body around and shit when, like, you don't have full sensation of it and stuff. It's also kind of useful because every so often, I can't quite remember what it's called, but I also get this with my wrists where there is a nerve. There's a little muscle or something that goes over a nerve in my wrist, and I sometimes get like inflammation in it, and it causes it to kind of swell up and have too much pressure, and I lose grip sensation in my hands and stuff. I don't know really how to describe that because like it hasn't happened for a while, so it's not like the first thing on my mind, but every so often I can't hold things properly either. And so I'll sometimes like start dropping stuff out of nowhere and I won't know why. And it will take me a little bit to realize that I can't actually grip properly. And so, yeah, like learning how to do other things, like learning how to get around these problems is really useful because like I know that like I'm only going to keep like getting older and stuff every year, right? There's no like going backwards at any point in time where this is not going to get worse. And so learning how to deal with this stuff before, you know, it's all kind of happening at once. See that he lived. Cool beans. Yeah, it's kind of useful because I'm like, by the time I get much older and I'm dealing with a lot of stuff, or other people are starting to deal with this stuff, I will have had like X number of years experience with it, and I might be able to like give a little bit of advice or guidance or something that might be useful for other people. I don't fucking know. It'd be one of those things where it's like it's entirely up to another person to take said advice. I will get the outline thing again and I'll find out what shape we were working with because they were kind of not the same as what I was building. And I know that I kind of took this from like a grow room-esque shape. So we'll see. But yeah, I don't know. I've had plenty of experiences, good and bad so far. Like I said, like I'm pretty like directly open about a lot of the stuff, but yeah, it's one of those things where even I forget that I've done or had something or whatever at some point in time, just because like I've dealt with it and moved past it and I've found a different way to exist, kind of thing. If I make that one wider on the inside bits, it won't look quite as round, I don't think. And this is the same shape as the other room. So if I moved it back by one set, I would have a little bit more space for those extra beds. But this is more of a, I think it's kind of this one shape. Yeah, it's the outer shape of that grow room. I'm okay with that. I don't really mind making it a little bit bigger. And Noskabar's got inspired creativity. Okay, so this time around we've only lost 2 colonists. We lost Teresa and we lost Amanda. And what the fuck was the other one? It was like Maurice or something. Hold on. Minerva. There's the word. Minerva. She's actively getting butchered. We lost Minerva and there was somebody else. I feel like there was another panther in there. But yeah, we lost a few animals and we have only lost a couple of people. So it's not too bad. I think if I tell them to build something, they might move a bit faster. Yeah. I'll see if they can build up a couple of things. I don't really mind the shape of how this was. It looked like I could get an extra bed in here. I don't actually mind how kind of like rounded this is, but I do feel like these couple of beds were a little bit cramped. It does mean I've probably got to get an extra, like, what do you call it, vitals monitor or something in here somewhere. Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure out where everything goes. Also, how is this going for cleanliness? It's looking pretty good, but it's looking extremely empty, which is super concerning for a colony of this size. So I don't really feel like we're going to get any crops from outside, and I do need to check what it is that we were growing inside, because I've got a bit of heel root, I've got a lot of rice. I don't think I'm growing cotton. I might be growing a little row of cotton. I'm growing like a row thing of cotton. So there is rice to harvest. The reason why I'm like keeping such close eye on it is because, like, as you guys might have noticed when I did the special event last week, anybody that didn't witness it, I'm about to fill you in on it, is that when the colony ballooned in size, we looked like we had enough food, but it really didn't last that long. And this is a map where every winter it is going to snow, probably. It's going to be cold enough that the crops for sure die off if it doesn't snow. So what that means is for at least a few months every year, we cannot produce food unless we have, you know, operational grow rooms. And if there's anything wrong with said grow rooms, then yeah, that's an issue. I also kind of feel like I could probably fit one more bed in here, maybe. Looks like it's going to be a bit tight on that corner, but that's okay. Yeah, so anyway, it's going to be kind of critical that we have sufficient food production, because all the animals are also going to need food throughout winter. So anything that's kind of getting around, it's going to want something to eat. It's going to need to be tamed and so on. So yeah, I have to make sure they have enough. And so far I've only got like a couple of grow rooms that are kind of compensating for it. But if we have food at all on the map, I need them to go and harvest it as a priority. That includes berry bushes, obviously, because there'll be like wild berry bushes growing, and people can go and harvest that. That's fine. That will bring in like a few more berries and shit like that. So of the ones that I've got going places, that one's not. And once we've got a third medical bay down here, that should help us massively. By the look of it, I'm supposed to move this over by one. They're not supposed to do that far. This is fine. I'll figure this shit out. It looks like I could probably have fitted it in up here. If I did it that way, I could put one between it. I may have to move some shit around and have a closer look at the bedroom sort of hospital-esque areas and stuff. Because I've got these I could move over. Not you, Star. What did I just say, Star? Leave it alone. Cool. Move that over. Move this over. I'm trying to make it that we have sufficient medical stuff, as well as we don't have the medical rooms particularly overloaded. Because if they're overloaded, it makes them dirtier, cramped, more likely to get infections and so on and so forth. Sam's got inspired frenzy. My animals all out here eating stuff, but they can't get into grow rooms. That's the important things. These simple little fences, so useful. This has stopped my animals when they're starving from just helping themselves to a full crop that might be getting used for something else to keep, you know, said colonists alive so that we could grow crops. You've got the plague, cataracts, bad back. Have you got medical stuff? You got medical privileges? Mate, when you don't have the plague anymore, well, let's look at getting you a couple of eyeballs. Speaking of, how's Cheddar doing? Because he survived because we didn't do both his surgeries at once. So he's got AI. He has at least one. I now realize the joke of, like, you know, if they have AI. Anyway, terrible. That shit wouldn't have landed, like, you know, 5-10 years ago. But was that an adult? Yes, that was an adult. And I think a guinea pig may have just died in amongst that. You guys got an... I'm guessing it could have died on its own, but I really feel like they did that purposely. It's like guinea pigs and shit down. Start, just abandon the fucking food and, like, rescue some shit, you know? Go rescue that. Whole bunch of things here that's, like, on fire. I'm gonna need to start putting, like, fire foam poppers near, like, animals, honestly. Couldn't hurt them to build one of these right about here, I reckon. Right there and right here. I feel like those might be useful in the future. And what was that? There was a second fire. I'm guessing that a fucking boomerlope has had, like, offspring. Is this not like a home zone? Should be a home zone. Yeah, it's a home zone. I should be having people, like, rushing in here. Tillman, mate, you're incapable of firefighting. I need somebody to put out that, because I can't rebuild that. Like, I could buy one, but... Anyway, my panther's immediately here snacking, and Tadashi, can you rescue Small Panther in the pile? I don't know if you're rescuing, like, somebody Alistair, or if Alistair was coming to it. That's not what I asked. Prioritize tending to Panther. Do we just not have a spot to take it to? We might not have a spot. I mean, we don't have a lot of the spots anyway. These spots are supposed to be medical here. They're supposed to be medical. And I did have these ones on the back, but I don't want them to be medical because they are pretty far away. Although they're not really that far away from medical stuff, but yeah, front side preferably. Okay. Also, we've got this back in here now. So this finally arrived. We've got it all across here, and I thought about putting it up in the other hospital. Or possibly down in here. I kind of considered putting it in here because this will make them happy while they're working on components. It isn't a spot where I do think some arsehole's going to come kick it, but I mean, that's 90% of my base anyway, is some arsehole's going to come kick it. You know, I can finally move these fuckers down though. They can get reinstalled down in here. And I don't know how I feel about them going down in here, but like, hopefully it's near enough for like resources and shit, and that all of them are actually allocated to be able to do stuff. They can at least shred mechanoids for the moment, and I don't mind that. I will make other stuff later, and I was going to put some stuff down in the dead center. So which one's going where? That one? Yeah, this one's got to probably come down into like the center area here. I was kind of thinking like about there and then moving the shelves over. So like moving said shelving, although I was putting like a statue situation here. So we'll see how I can move this shit around. How about you put that like there for the moment? And I don't know about this if I need it in the corner, but try reinstalling it there. Because I don't think I'm going to fit anything in that spot for the moment. It'd be like tucked back. So Bical's in a shoot frenzy. Somebody's having animal starvation. A lot of animals are having animal starvation. These couple of benches will move. These ones will get moved over to a sheep has died. So I'll see if I can move a couple of benches into here, and I may have to move maybe one of these into the center or something at some point, or maybe even to like the edge. If I could even just move these two over for the moment, it would allow me to bring in another bench of miscellaneous type, because I wouldn't mind just moving the other couple of like heavy duty benches down here for the moment. No, I need you to put there. Okay, so if somebody can come and move shit, who have we got? I guess once our animals stop reproducing more, I guess a lot of these colonists are already dead, like Dragon's been dead for ages. Let's see. So the boomerlopes, we look like we've got the same amount pregnant as what we have, which should mean that they should only cull the babies now. Here's hoping. Like, no fucking promises, but goddamn, they gotta try. And Bombay is hurt again, but also still tending to animals. Mate, you good? Got a burn on your jaw and you got your right shoulder's got a prosthetic arm. Okay. So as long as none of the boomerlopes actually die, like, I would be better off if I wanted to keep a boomerlope to tame a fresh one, essentially. Also, it looks like these are getting well and truly spread out. I'd like to spread these out like just a bit more, like on either side here, but what I need to do that, it's quite silly, but I need it to go over like that, because this is the only way I can get these to move. Now that I've got the specific color that I want them to be about as far apart as physically fucking possible. and then moved over. Because I don't want like massive amounts, but I want it to be so far apart that if it does go kaboom, it's only going to kaboom in a small area. And this one was blue, and I don't think that that one was. This one was. I don't know if they've put it in that spot yet. So if I can copy that, and I could paste it into there, and we could expand it over into that corner, and this one can expand into this corner. And then I can get rid of this whole bit here. That way I won't have to like copy them, but they will move them over. They will be very close to this, and that's kind of in the way of that, but I'm moving these. So it's not really a huge issue. That was in line with that. It would be here. I'd need to move them up by 1. So I need to move it over by 1 to be there. Not like that. I didn't want the whole fucking thing to go. You can, I guess we've got to make a couple of copies of this now. So gotta get one that's not red or pink or whatever. That one's kind of blue. It's blue-ish. What is that color? That one's blue. I'm trying to get blue colored-ish zones because I'm so sick of looking at like red. My like areas where I'm like trying to store shit is almost always fucking red. And yeah, I don't want to remove the whole thing. I just want to remove it from there. And this will have to move up at one point. So we should be putting like 2 stacks on the far corners. It should be far enough away from them. I could put other stuff in here. It will probably still go explode, but there isn't much I could do about that. And I do have room for like technically like another one of these benches, but I don't really feel like I need that fucking many. I do have to make sure they're all making medicine. Medicine is pretty critical. I do have to keep like a certain amount of medicine too. So I do need them to grow a lot more medicine than what I have, but having nearly 1,000 medicine across the colony for a colony this size is actually finally sufficient. Like obviously like a decent plague or a flu or something like that, or a decent battle could still fuck us over, but it'll be fine for the moment. Now I do want to get rid of some of this, and I just wanted to move it kind of away from the corners. I'd kind of like them to kind of spread this out a little bit further, but you know, as long as I can get them to move the piles around. Ideally, if I could get rid of the zone, they should go and put it up in those 4 specific spots, and I just don't know how many that would be per corner. Because I don't want it to just be there. I don't want this to be in every room. I do want to store some of this shit like maybe outside or somewhere like in a spot that isn't going to like blow up a shit ton of animals or something. Like as I said, like over here it isn't a bad spot, but I still run the risks of if somebody does a fire starting spree or does a tantrum and go kicks it, it's still an issue. I don't usually have this much spare. I also feel like, oh, because it's not in the grow. It's not in the zone. It's not counting it. Grizzly Bear Revenge. Houston, mate, I think you really like fucked yourself over by standing in that corner. I'll tell you that much. I'll see who we can get down here to help you. Mate, I don't even know about that. You're probably going to die, mate. Why stand in a corner when you can't get through a building? I'll wait until like we've got some people here because like Gubia could probably help. Sari's in the area. She could definitely help. She could probably take out a few shots. Gubia could get to this corner. I could get you to at least do some shots on it too. Houston's also getting shot, so we'll see how we go. I'm probably going to need to rescue Houston. 8 hours. You can self-tend yourself, mate, if you can make it out of here. Okay, cool. Get the fuck out of here and go to a hospital, mate. I'll probably get him say that he's like down and needs help in a minute. Alright, you guys keep going. And Marjot's just like standing up here casually. Anyway, the other problem I've also got is if they cull the fucking baby thrombo things, or not thrombos, the boomalopes in here, because they'll probably want to sleep in here, then this is a fire hazard zone as well, because it's hay grass. But we're working on that. So I'm going to have to get them to put another one of those fire foam poppers